welcome to Freshly Served, the healthy vegan cooking show. I'm Heather, and tonight we are making some veggie burgers. And for those of you who feel like you've tried veggie burgers and they failed, this one is for you. I'm making it with potatoes, which are probably the easiest way to make a veggie burger. Once you get them mashed up, they're really nice and soft. They're basically like potato pancakes, but we're going to add a bunch of vegetables to them to make them really nice and yummy as well as healthy. So what I've done to start is I've got my potatoes cooked. Just cook these in some salted water, and I've got them about half filled up. So if the potatoes go up to here, I've got water up to here, which is about half. Now you can drain off some of this water before you mash because you don't want them to be too liquidy. But that's going to be the perfect liquid to add back if you want to make your potatoes creamier. I don't use any soy milk or coconut oil or anything like that in my mashed potatoes because I find them creamy enough on their own. But if you want, you can use those things. Just mash up your potatoes to your own liking. So you can see that I leave the skins on my potatoes. There are a lot of nutrients in the skins, so leave them in. They'll also add a bit of texture to your veggie burger. And of course, potatoes recently were not so much appreciated in the nutritional circles, but they've come around on them. And I really like them not only for the nutrients that they bring, but also the fact that they really fill stomach up. I was trying to figure out how to say that sentence without sounding stupid, but it keeps his stomach full, basically. And that's always a good thing in my books. So next thing I've got is the pan is heating up, and I'm going to saute the onions and garlic. While they're sauteing, I'm going to prepare my other vegetables, which I'm using carrots and kale. So the onions are just softly sizzling back here, and what I'm going to do is grate these carrots. That way they're going to form nicely into the patty. So when you're finished grating your carrots, you can probably throw the garlic into the pan with the onions. My onions are looking really nice and soft, so I know it's time. Give them a stir and then let them cook a little bit. Grating is one of my least favorite things to do, but it makes a really awesome texture, so I do it. Alright, so the garlic has finished cooking and I've turned the heat off on that. I'm going to show you what I do with the kale, because this is one of my favorite techniques. If you haven't seen this before, it is so awesome. I hated kale for quite some time until this year when I finally discovered this technique. It was something that I found through doing the raw food diet, but it's awesome for cooked kale as well. So what happens is when you get the curly kale, it's really tough. And it's hard to chew, and you don't really digest it very well when it's raw. So what I do is I've chopped it up, I sprinkle a little bit of sea salt, and then I'm just going to massage the salt onto the leaves. And what happens here is the salt breaks down some of the cells in the kale, so it releases its moisture. It's going to soften up, and it's going to be a lot easier for us to digest. And since there is so much nutrients in kale, many different nutrients and lots of them, it's always good to make it as digestible as possible. And as you rub it, you're going to feel it getting softer. You can see there's some moisture just starting to form here. So you can see that this has definitely shrunk down in size, and the color has gotten really nice and bright green. It's a little bit moist. I always do this with the curly kale, no matter what I'm doing with it. If I'm putting it in a salad, I'm going to do this. If I steam it, I'll do this. If I stir fry it, I'll do this. Because even when you cook the kale, if it's not softened beforehand, it's just going to get crispy, and it's still not going to be very easy to chew and digest. So throw this into the potato mixture along with the onions and garlic. Now that I've got these vegetables all mixed together, it's time for the most important part, the seasonings. Salt, of course. I'm probably going to add about 2 teaspoons, but go by how much vegetable you have in here. Whenever I put measurements, they're pretty approximate, and just go with what you feel is right. So there's some ground black pepper. I'm going to add some coriander. See how much I feel like tonight. And a little bit of cayenne. Cayenne is quite hot, so use it sparingly unless you like really hot food. Most veggie burgers are fine to either fry or bake, but there's one crucial difference, and I'm doing some baked burgers tonight just to show you what happens because I've done a couple fried burgers by now. The difference that you need to remember is that when you bake the burgers rather than fry, the vegetables need to be protected in the oven. When you fry them, you're gonna have a little bit of oil in the pan. But when you bake them, there's no oil, so what you need to do is add just a little bit of oil to the batter in order to not have them dry out in the oven. So I've added a little bit of oil to this batter after I got the seasonings in. And then I'm going to put it in the oven at about 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes. These guys have been in the oven for about half an hour, and you can do whatever you like with them. You can put them on a bun, you can put them over a salad or whatever. What I'm going to do is top them with a tomato, just one slice of tomato, and then I'm going to pop them back in the oven. And to help them cook, just give them a tiny little sprinkle of salt. And I'll crack some black pepper on there as well. And then just put them in 5-10 minutes on broil. And here are the finished potato veggie burgers. Hope you enjoy them. This is Freshly Served, the Healthy Vegan Cooking Show. I'm Heather, and you can find the recipe for these guys plus lots of other healthy recipes at healthyveganrecipes.net.